everybody! Welcome to Self-Care Sunday! Who's with us tonight on the show? Come on, everybody. Who's with us tonight? Number one in is Jennifer. Welcome to the show. Cindy. Eric. Welcome. Stephanie. Alicia. Angie. Angie. Kitty's with us. Hey, Karen. Pasadena's in the house. Heather's with us. Adele and Dazzle. Whoa, I walked off camera there. Didn't mean to do that. On your treadmill, Kelly. No dinner tonight on the patio? Diane is with us with her brand new website. Everybody go check out Diane's website. And even better, shop on Diane's website. Diane, throw up the URL for me, because I want to say it's handmeups Georgia or something close to that .com, but throw up the URL there for me so I can actually give you a proper shout out. Angie says hi to Cassandra, Rebecca, and Zeke, right? Yes, that was right, Angie. And Nana's here too. Hey, Alexa, welcome. Hello, Dana. Hey, Bailey. Good to see you here tonight. No need to sing happy birthday to Rebecca, everybody. Just say, wave happy birthday. Send the like buttons up. Yeah, that was a really great thing that Diane did and got all those websites on there. That was really awesome. Jana's with us. Joanne is with us in Chicago. Angie, sorry she left you out, Nana.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Nana had a lot of the wine tonight, so she's okay.
Thank you for all the happy birthdays. I'm 22.
2-2. Everybody's sending up happy birthdays.
Yeah,
we are in a happy birthday mood tonight. Leanne is with us with the party animal, Leanne. That Leanne's gotten into the wine tonight. Look at her scroll all those party symbols. Because Atlanta's getting ready to open. All right. I can't even see all those symbols, Adele.
Oh, there's the champagne.
Oh, champagne bottle. All right. Yes, Kitty. Very good, everybody. What's everybody grateful for this Self-Care Sunday? What did we do this Self-Care Sunday for Self-Care Sunday tonight? What was everybody up to? Hello?
I watched the fireworks at Disney World. They posted them on YouTube. They're really good.
Okay. That's a good thing, fun thing to do for Self-Care Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Rebecca is totally into Disney.
I'm very much Disney.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Goodbye.
Goodbye. You mowed the yard. Yeah, Bill came and mowed the yard yesterday, as a matter of fact. Okay, so Diane's website, everybody, and check out her brand new website there in Georgia, hand-me-ups.com. Hand-me-ups.com. Go visit Diane's new website and check it out. Kitty planted another flower bed. Karen's having a laid-back day. Alexa washed 6 dogs. My dogs still need it, Alexa.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat that.
Kristen just finished putting more items to her website. Heather grilled and took a walk. Laura's watching us tonight. Hey, Laura. Jenny made her bed and washed her dishes. Hey, Jenny, that's very adulting of you. I'm proud of you. Kevin got some scotch, and I got some scotch right here with you, Kevin. Thank God for Dazzle's treats arrived. Vina called back 2 staff starting tomorrow. Jana had great sales and they weren't even open today. I love that. Crystal's with us. Eric has 22 employees back today. Woot woot! Iowa! Go, Iowa! That's awesome, Eric. Molly is joining us in Colorado. Ship them with peanut butter cups. I'd have to put them in 2 separate packages, Alexa, or he would dig the peanut butter out of the cups. You know. Joni's with us tonight. Hey, Joni, good to have you. Kitty's got 4 employees back tomorrow. That's awesome. See, people want to come back. You guys have all been nervous that your people don't want to be back. Oh, that's great, Molly. I'm so happy to hear you got some local publicity. People are reading the paper, so that's a good thing. I was interviewed for the paper again today, and they're writing a big piece for it. I hope there isn't news that makes it get cut, because they sent me the draft, and it was like really, really long, and I was surprised. Yeah, there's a lot of publicity out there that is available. 29 website orders while you binged Netflix. What were you binge watching, Lori, on Self-Care Sunday? What were you binge watching on Netflix? But that is good. I'm glad you had time and took the time to do that, Lori. These are important things to do and important for you. We've had a fairly relaxing day. I mean, we've had a lot of cooking today. We had a Sunday brunch. I like to do a Sunday brunch. Hey, there's another birthday girl. Anita's birthday was yesterday. Good evening, Anita. Thanks for joining us. The 100. I don't know what that is. You know, I'm going to have to go listen to that podcast again, Michelle. I mean, I haven't listened to it in post-production. Everybody's been telling me I did so good. I was there for it, and I'm like, I didn't think that much of it, but I'm glad that everybody is enjoying it. I'm like, but I was like, Cassandra, when I came home from takeout, and I told her everybody's posting how good I did, and I'm like, even my brother listened to it. One of them, anyways, and I was like, I'm like, I didn't think it was that special. But I'm glad that everybody's getting something out of it. It seems like ages ago when I did that. So I'm going to have to listen to it post-production. I mean, I did not hear all the editing on that. But it was truly an honor to have Bob reach out and do that podcast. By his own admission, he gets people in the resale, and like a lot of people in traditional retail, he knows his limitations, and consignment and resale is not his thing. Even though most of what he teaches applies to this, just like anything else. It doesn't matter what your widget is; it's the good principles that do it. It is positive, and that's the message. That's why that's kind of why I'm excited that these interviews some of these interviews are starting to hit now, because so many that I've done in the last few weeks have been dropped, and they're like, I'm going to contact you for something else because you're too positive a person, and they really wanted more negative and pain, and it's not that we haven't had pain or aren't in pain. But I don't live in the pain, I get to the other side of it. So, I work from that. You know, I've had a lot of you ask, so when do I sleep? When am I going to sleep? You know, and I'm like, after this. You might not, you know, when everybody's rocking and rolling after this and everything, and you'll try to get me, I might be asleep for like 2 weeks or something after this is all over. But I tend to decompress after everything is done and just do it. Although there's been a couple, I think last Sunday I did get a nap in. I was in the office last Sunday, and Cassandra came into the office and found me taking a nap on the floor. So it does happen. Not often, not long. I was told I had that cake before I came on tonight, and I was letting out a big yawn, and I was like, oh, that's good, because usually I eat after this program. And Cassandra's like, no, you can't take a nap now. You got to get on. Oh, that's great, Jenny. I'm so glad that that podcast is getting high downloads. It's you know, I'm just me. You know, I'm like this. This is what I am. So I am who I am. You either love me or hate me. There's no money in the middle. There's one for you. So on this Sunday night, I guess we should open the Good Morning, Good Night book. Told Cassandra this would be a quick one tonight, but I don't know that we're going to be quick tonight. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, this is a good one. And we start every night after we find out what we're grateful for today. And Self-Care Sunday, there's been lots of baking. Anybody see Julie's caramel cake that she made? That looked really good, although that looked like a lot of work. And Cassandra's red velvet cake that she made, which was really, really good. Okay, so our good morning today. Our good morning is the moment that good morning. The moment that connects you to your true passion might be on the other side of breakfast, or just a baby step there. Let's see. Hey, Lorna, welcome to the program tonight. Let's see what I got for you tonight. So, besides this being Self-Care Sunday, it is National South Dakota Day, National Pets Parent Day, which Adele was a good pet parent by getting Dazzle's treats. And it is National Richter Scale Day. How's that for rocking your world? Did anybody actually make the peanut butter fingers recipe? I know I screwed up my posting of it last night, but I'm just curious if anybody had made that yet. You know, in our market, there seems to be a shortage of things like flour in the whole baking aisle. I think it is all in Jennifer and Julie's house. Because that is where all the baked goods seem to be getting freshly made all the time. For my Canadian friends, for our friends to the north, do not forget the wage subsidy. You can start applying for that tomorrow. The wage subsidy is available to be applied for tomorrow, so do not forget that. You wanna take advantage of that, because that can pay 75% of your employees' wages for 12 weeks, which is pretty cool. I like that. I like the way Canada's really taking care of business up there. Between rent and this, they're really doing a fantastic job at taking care of things. I got a great quote today that I thought, you know, I've said many times this is a marathon, not a sprint, okay? And I heard this today, and I'm like, this is really good. We're all in a marathon, and none of us is trained for it. And I thought that was just a really good quote. So let's see, what else do I got today? You know, continuing what's going on with the big guys and rent. So, April wasn't a good month for landlords to collect rent. Okay, Panera Bread, H&M, Foot Locker, and others paying zero rent in April is the headline on this article in the commercial real estate news. Okay. With much of the nation on lockdown since March, many retail companies from beloved local bars to ubiquitous fast food chains skipped their April rent. And a news report just shows how widespread the rent strike was among national chains and how even the impact of the virus inflicted crisis has been. As of April 10th, restaurant chains and retail companies across the U.S. had on average paid 44% of rent owed to their landlords, according to a report. Most theater companies, gyms paid no rent at all, while big box stores and supermarkets were fully paid up. The report is based on verified collections from 113 rental tenant companies in the portfolio. And this portfolio tracks tenants that pay more than $250,000 a year in rent or have 10 locations or more. Okay, so that is the basis for this data collection, is those two data points. Their rents average for their spaces $250,000 or more, and or they have 10 locations or more. And the percentages are aggregated across all the tenant stores. But the other part of this is that, hang on a second, I just want to find the quote. You know, and it's uneven in what's going on. For example, PetSmart paid 96% of their rent, while rival Petco only paid 20%. You know, Hobby Lobby paid 98% of its rent, while Michael's paid 33%. Chipotle had paid 99% of its rent, while Panera paid 0%. Between the extremes, Panda Express paid half, while Subway and IHOP paid roughly 20% of their rent bills. So, hang on a second. I want to find the one quote about and they're expecting this to continue in May. But the quote that I'm looking for that I'm not seeing right now talks about how this is only on tenants with rents north of $250,000. Okay, had only paid 44% of their rent. So that's an annualized rent of $250,000. The percentage below that, okay, so if tenants paying below that, the percentage of non-payment is much higher. So that is interesting stuff, and will continue to develop with May 1st right around the corner. This is a story that will continue to develop. So there is, you know, they are working on bills. You know, we're really kind of blessed right now in Massachusetts with the congressional changeover in the House, with the Democrats in charge in there. We have two prominent chairs, our congressional representatives from Massachusetts. We have Jim McGovern, who actually is the district where our stores are, is chair of the Rules Committee, which is a very powerful committee, okay? And Congressman Richie Neal, who's like out in Springfield, Mass, and that the western part of the state, he has a couple other parts of his district, is chair of the Ways and Means Committee, and also really very well respected. He's a smart guy on finance and taxation. So I've always enjoyed having conversations with him and everything, and they know the problem that rent is, and they are looking at ways to offer some relief, and I've certainly brought up what Canada is doing on that. So hopefully something's got to give on that, because you can't have the commercial landlord default on their mortgage, and they need the money to support it, and they need the tenants to survive too. So we are all in this together, and we will figure out how to get to the other side. So that is good there. So then the next thing that comes up that has been a popular topic, and that I was asked to talk about tonight, and I've got lots of good data on, and which will be posted to the narts.org Facebook group later this evening, and it will, Miss Adele will, as always, be wonderful and amazing, and get that over to the narts.org resale strong page for you by tomorrow, probably tonight, because she's a night owl, and she keeps up with me. But these pages that I'm going to talk about bringing your employees back and the legal side of that, is something that I've had a lot of requests for today, and I said, sure, I'll talk about that, because what else are we going to talk about on Self-Care Sunday? But, you know, first and foremost, I know a lot of you have been nervous about them even wanting to come back. But look at, you know, Kitty mentioned she has 4 people. Eric has 20 or 22 people starting back this week. You know, they want to get back to work. They want to be in your stores. Okay, so this is, they do, in general, want to be there. Okay, so in what I posted tonight, I gave the website link to where I got all this. I'm posting a excerpt from that of things that really apply to our industry and retail. This is from lawyers that have been covering things on COVID straight through. They do a lot of employer-employee law, and so they're really a great resource. So I gave the link to their whole page, but the document that I'm posting, the PDF that I'm posting later, has some of these key things in it, so you don't have to jump through, because their legal document of everything is 45 pages long. So I got the excerpts for you. So first and foremost, can an employee refuse to come to work because of fear of infection? Employees are only entitled to refuse work if they believe they are in imminent danger. Whoa, I really have not had much to drink tonight. If they are in imminent danger. Section 13 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act defines imminent danger to include any conditions or practices in any place of employment which are such that a danger exists which can reasonably be expected to cause death or serious physical harm immediately. Okay? OSHA discusses imminent danger or a threat of death or serious physical harm, or a reasonable expectation that toxic substances or other hazards are present, and exposure to them will shorten life or cause substantial reduction in physical or mental efficiency. The threat must be immediate or imminent. So, for example, if they... However, most work conditions in the United States, however, do not meet the elements required for an employer to refuse work. The guidance is general, and employers must determine when the unusual state exists in your workplace before determining whether it's permissible for employees to refuse work. They say... You know, basically they said, like, being in a hospital and not having protective equipment would be the only thing that might rise to that. Working a COVID floor in a hospital is an example that they give of something that would be, that could potentially rise to that level. Okay? So that's number one. So they can't refuse not to come to work. And again, unemployment stops if they refuse to come to work. What steps can we take to minimize the risk of transmission? And while this has a whole bunch of things on it, the ultimate thing is repeatedly, creatively, and aggressively encouraging employees and others to avoid exposure. The message you should be giving your employees are: wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with others who are sick. Refrain from shaking hands with others for the time being. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw that tissue in the trash. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. And perhaps the most important message you can give to employees is to stay home when you are sick. Okay? That's that's what you should be instructing people. As an employer, you should be doing the following. Ensure that employees have ample facilities to wash their hands, including tepid water and smoke, and soap, not smoke. Accelerate your cleaning schedules. Consider staging employee starting and departing times, along with lunch and break periods to minimize overcrowded in common areas. Have a single point of contact for employees for all concerns that arise relating to health and safety, and encourage workers to report any safety and health concerns. So that's really important, okay? So, have a single point of contact for that. Almost treat it like you would a sexual harassment claim, okay, in your workplace, okay? So there's a single point that should be brought to. Of the management team that is to do that and hear the concern and look to see if there is a applicable way to deal with it or that it can be mitigated. Can an employee refuse to work without a mask? OSHA has addressed the common question of whether an employee can simply refuse to work in unsafe conditions. The safety agency provides the following guidance, which wouldn't require the use of a mask or respirator in most situations. An employee's right to refuse to do a task is protected if all of the following conditions are met. Where possible, you ask the employer to eliminate the danger and the employer failed to do so. You refuse to work in good faith. This means you must genuinely believe that an imminent danger exists. A reasonable person would agree that there's a real danger of death or serious injury. There isn't enough time due to the urgency or hazard to get it corrected. Given the consensus that face masks are only necessary when treating someone who is infected with coronaviruses, masks are likely not necessary to protect the health of most employees. Therefore, most employers do not have to provide or allow employees to wear a surgical mask or respirator against the spread of COVID. The use of the word may in OSHA's respiratory protection standard makes it clear that when a respirator is not necessary to protect the health of an employee, it is within the discretion of the employer to allow employees to use such a thing. You are well within the applicable OSHA standard to deny employees' request to wear a surgical mask or respirator in almost all situations. However, in light of the CDC's recent guidance recommending that people wear cloth face coverings in public settings, it's not recommended that you refuse an employee's request to wear a mask at work. However, you should recommend that the employee wear a cloth face covering instead of a surgical mask. As the CDC notes, the cloth face coverings recommended are not surgical masks or N95 respirators. The cloth face coverings are not subject to OSHA's respiratory protection standard. And last but not least is workers' comp. My employee alleges that they contracted the coronavirus while at work. Will this result in a compensatable workers' comp claim? It depends. If the employee is a healthcare worker or first responder, the answer is likely yes, subject to variations in state law. For other categories of employees, a compensable workers' comp claim is possible, but the analysis would be very fact-specific. It's important to note that the workers' compensation system is a no-fault system, meaning that an employee claiming a work-related injury doesn't need to prove negligence on the part of the employer. Instead, the employee needs only prove that the injury occurred at work and was proximately caused by their employment. Additionally, the virus is not an injury, but is instead analyzed under state law to determine if it is an occupational disease. To be an occupational disease, again subject to state law variations, an employee must generally show two things. The illness or disease must be occupational, meaning it arose out of and was in the course of employment, and the illness or disease must arise out of or be caused by conditions peculiar to the work and creates a risk of contracting the disease in a greater degree and in a different manner than in the public generally. The general test in determining whether an injury arises out of and in the course of employment is whether the employee was involved in some activity where they were benefiting the employer and exposed to the virus. Importantly, special consideration would be given to healthcare workers and first responders, as these employees will likely enjoy a presumption that any communicable disease was contracted as the result of employment. This would also include nurses and physicians who are exposed to the virus while at a work site. As for other categories of employees, compensability for a workers' comp claim will be determined on a case-by-case basis. The key point will be whether the employee contracted the virus at work and whether the contraction of the disease was peculiar to the employer. Even if the employer takes all of the right steps to protect employees from exposure, a claim may be determined where the employees can show that they contracted the virus after an exposure, the exposure was peculiar to their work, and there are no alternative means of exposure demonstrated. Absent state legislation on this topic, an employee seeking workman's comp for a coronavirus infection will still have to provide medical evidence to support the claim. Employers who seek to contest such a claim may be able to challenge the allowance if there's another alternative exposure or if the employee's medical evidence is merely speculative. Okay, and they go on to talk about, the common flu and how you catch that and how that has been shown not to be compensable from a workplace standpoint, that is not a cause for a workers' comp claim. So that is the key areas of the law that I pulled out of this 47-page document. All of the areas that I highlighted will be in a special PDF for you, plus a link to the Fisher Phillips website, the law firm that put this all together, and continues to update it. So it is really good. It's also suggested that you don't look for them to sign any waiver. You're following good recommendations. You're not looking for them to acknowledge what you're doing in advance or anything. Yeah, it is super heavy. That's why, imagine all 47 pages of it, okay? Most of the 47 pages isn't a good read. That's why I pulled out the things that do apply to us. But it's just, ultimately, you're allowed to call your employees back, okay? You don't need to have them sign a waiver. You need to accelerate your cleaning schedule and allow them and encourage them to wash often, okay? That's really, really the key, okay? Almost think of it as, if you go to a public pool or a public beach, how they rotate the lifeguard stations, okay? Rotating workstations or just rotating, get a cuckoo clock and have it cuckoo on the hour. Okay, and that's, a wipe down time is just good common sense right now, especially in the early weeks of opening, as we move towards opening our stores. So that's just good common sense. Again, wash your hands. Don't touch everything and then wipe your face and everything else. It's just a lot of good common sense, and that's the best things. Eric, you can make you're going to have to make some individual judgments on some of that as far as employees that live with someone that can't be exposed. We live with a diabetic, for example, and a senior. So there's a lot of combined households and different things or high effects. They're going to have to make their own decisions, and you as an employer for people that choose not to reenter the workforce. The one thing that isn't covered in these documents, but is in general covered, is that you shouldn't make those decisions on your own. For example, the example was given in another legal brief analysis that it's been said that the elderly are more susceptible to this, for example, but elderly is not defined. So is elderly 50? Is elderly 60? Is elderly the 70-year-old that works for you? Who's elderly? Okay, and so the the example was given is that you shouldn't bring back all your young people thinking they're the healthy ones and forcibly exclude the people that are older, okay? And so that you didn't end out in an age discrimination suit, okay? That you should make things equally available has been the general legal advice, or by class of job, okay, as you bring people back. So, but, especially I from the way that you and Amy run your staff and run your team, I think you having some of those discussions on a one-on-one basis is absolutely fine, and making that decision for you, because ultimately, let's not forget, one of the greatest lines that I think of all this is you are the governor of your store, your family of employees. So you have to make the decisions that are right for you, for your family, and for your family business, and for your family of employees. And that's okay. And that may not even be the same decision that the business across the street from you makes. And that's okay too, because they have to make the right decision as the governor of their family and the governor of their store. So that's just an important thing to remember, and act of kindness, and not making other people's decisions or criticizing when you disagree with them. You just have to do what's right for you. Because we're all getting to the other side of this. We're all looking for our path, okay, in our way to get to the other side. So that is okay. Let's see, what else did I have for you here tonight? But the shortened document will be posted as a PDF to the Resale Strong page. The link, it'll give you the whole 47 pages if you want a lot of heavy reading with that. The other hot topic, again, as I remind you, is the PPP opens up again tomorrow. So if you have not applied for the PPP and you have payroll, I encourage you to do so. Whether you take it or how you implement it, I'm happy to have a discussion on a one-on-one basis with you, but it's important that you get that application in, because this money will go incredibly fast. It will not be a 2-week thing, and it will not be something, don't call me on Friday and say, I'm thinking about getting the PPP. It'll be gone by Friday. There are a ton of applications sitting on the sidelines. I went by, I got takeout for dinner tonight. We got takeout tonight. And I drove past several banks, and I saw loan officers and things working at the banks tonight on a Sunday night, and I knew exactly why they were there. So they are working on making sure that they have everything ready to launch tomorrow for their customers for the PPP. So make sure you get your application in if it is not. If your bank's not taking them, again, look for one of the online partners such as PayPal. QuickBooks is doing it. If you do payroll through QuickBooks, Square is doing it. Cabbage is doing it as well. You could have it, Dana. That's a great question. Earliest turnaround for your PPP if your bank turned it into the SBA for this round? I mean, depends on your bank, but you could have it tomorrow. More likely, you'll hear midweek. Okay, from them, okay, that because they're sending in so many applications, they're not going to be able to turn around and tell everybody. The guys that are highly electronic can. The online ones will be quicker at getting a response to people. But they have to get the E-Tran numbers assigned by the SBA, okay? And if your bank has it and they're doing it, and so your bank, it's already gotten through your bank, then I would think that you will get in. I think everybody that's got an application in this weekend will get in this round. Do I think they will do a third round? I think the third round will be different. Yes, I think there will be more money. I think there's going to be more analysis. There's going to be more second guessing. How much money, Mnuchin says, the Treasury Secretary says this is enough money. It's not. There is talk about allowing people to get another PPP, okay, and changing the terms of the PPP. There's a lot of a lot of talk, so there will be more money. How it all shakes down, and really the next round of money is money for the states, because the state budgets, as we head into May, are all going to kaput, and the states can't print money the way the federal government can. So the next round of money coming out of Washington is mostly going to be for the states, and providing relief for all that they've been doing. And just think, as you have no retail sales, the states have no sales tax revenue and other revenue, other taxes and such, whether it's gas taxes or other things, have all gone kablooey. That's not something. I gotta say, though, if you get home heating oil, now's a great time to fill up. Our home heating oil got delivered yesterday. I've lost track of days, but yes, let's say yesterday. And, we have a 550 gallon tank. I forget. I think I have two 275 gallon tanks for heating oil. And I want to say that it was something like $1.60 a gallon or something like that. But those guys are hurting too, because their people are turning off automatic delivery, and that they actually called me to ask that, do I want to stay on automatic delivery? And I hemmed and hawed, because I'm like, do I want to spend $1,000 on heating oil right now? But I didn't want to be off automatic delivery. I like it being their problem. But they've had problems with collections and stuff too, so they've gone to, even though I've done business with them forever, they've gone to credit card only for all deliveries right now, till they get to the other side of this. But when I saw the bill and it was only like $1.60 or $1.69 a gallon for home heating oil, I don't think I've seen that in forever. So I was thrilled with that. So a good time to do that. But yes, and then there'll be more funding later on, whether it's rent relief or changing another PPP. But honestly, get your application in, and then you've got 10 days to figure out whether you should take it or not, okay, based on when you're able to bring employees back, whether you're able to hit the numbers. And I'm happy to run the numbers with you. I've been doing it for people left and right, helping them check their numbers, because ultimately I want it to be a grant. It's a terrible loan, and I don't want it to be a loan for you, because you won't make the payments on it. And so I want you to have it as a grant. So I want to make sure that it stays as a grant for you. And but get the application in first, and then we can sort out the how you hit the math, or decide that you shouldn't take it because you can't hit the math later at this point, because the time is of the essence in getting that application in. But we're in good shape. I got a bunch of stuff on tap for tomorrow that we have to talk about, and things that'll be happening. I've got a day of conference calls. If you haven't heard from me, or at least had a message from me, and you think you called me, then please reach out again, because I am fairly caught up. I'm within a day on calls right now. So if you have reached out to me and it hasn't been in the last 24 hours, please reach out again. It is Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. If you're unsure about anything, reach out. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm happy to do. I'm happy to get out the pink calculator and sit and toss it around and help you get to the other side of this. That's Neil at ECIstores.com. I'm here live in the Nart's Resale private Facebook group every night at 8 o'clock Eastern. This video is replayed on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store every day at noon the next day. And that will replay there. Adele keeps everything organized and open to the public at narts.org/resale strong. It is good for anyone that is in business. It is not just resale stores. Anybody in business. I have worked with so many people, from restaurants to hotels to window cleaners. Doesn't matter what your business is. All this stuff applies to them. Regardless of what your widget is, I am there to help, and I will help anybody get across the finish line on this. So please reach out. Please share the resources with your friends and neighbors. Even the recipes are up there that we share for Self-Care Sunday, so I'm truly honored for that. What do we got here is our closing words. Will the SBA send an email before they call? I've been so long, I don't remember when exactly I submitted my app, sometime around April 5th. Yeah, Lindsay, they will. The process is an email now. You get an email from the SBA that has you go create your portal and finish up any additional documents they need. Keep in mind, they are running 25 to 40 days right now on idle applications. So you've got some time there yet, Lindsay, before you're in that zone. You're just getting to the low end of that zone at the end of this week. So, you're a couple weeks away, 2.5 weeks away probably. If you made a miscalculation on the PPP, how do you fix that? It depends on who it's with. My guess is at this point you're probably going to be held to your miscalculation, Jenny, depending on who you have the application in with. No, Dana, you didn't mess up by paying your rent, and if they come up with some sort of rent relief, there'll be a way to get it to apply to that, because that's okay. Just make sure, the biggest thing is make sure if anybody who gets this PPP money uses it for payroll. That will be the least forgiven thing if you didn't use it for payroll. It'll be the worst loan in the world. It will not be a blessing. It will be a curse. Use it for payroll. Yeah, it depends on who you're with, Jenny, and who you got that request, and the documentation you did with that. You don't need to take your staff off unemployment if they're not coming back to work. You can, Wendy. It's a bad loan, though, Wendy, so we should talk. Reach out to me and we'll talk, but it's a bad loan, and they're, hitting the targets that you need to hit is more important, so I don't want you to end up with a loan. Yeah, you're probably not going to have an easy way to change it with PayPal, Jenny, the way they work, is my guess, but you can try calling them and following up with them. If the HOA fee, yeah, that's part of rent. That would be like CAM, Crystal. So the HOA fee should be covered in that if that's part of your contract. So that should be fine. Again, I'm here every night live in the NARTS Facebook group at 8 p.m. Eastern, not 8 a.m. Eastern. You can reach me anytime, Neil at neil@eCIstores.com. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book, and we finish every night with that. Our good morning, for those of you that weren't here at the top of the program. Good morning. The moment that connects you to your true passion might be on the other side of breakfast, or just a baby step there. Let's see. Our good night tonight. Good night. The moment that connects you to your true passion might be on the other side of tonight, or just a baby step there. Let's see. Nice little graphic there. Everybody, I am Neil Abramson. I like a good party. I'm here every night at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll be back again tomorrow. You and especially you are not alone running this store. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Good night.